Now, I wasn't planning to make an update video this soon on the InMotion RS Jet. However, there have been a couple pretty significant issues that have occurred with my scooter recently as I've been testing it. And they're significant enough that I wanted to make sure that anyone considering the scooter are aware of these issues. Now, I want to preface this by saying that I wouldn't be making a video on this if I didn't encounter other people who were running into the same issues as me, meaning that this isn't just an isolated issue with my specific unit. So the first issue that I noticed even during my first impressions video was that the scooter seems to randomly decide how powerfully to accelerate. It doesn't matter if you go in and make sure that the acceleration is turned all the way up and that it's in the highest mode. Sometimes it'll just decide to not accelerate with full power. And this is with the battery even completely full, so there's no sort of voltage issues. There shouldn't be any controller heat issues here. Every time I start to accelerate, it's kind of a 50-50 shot on whether I'm going to get the full wheel spinning power of this thing or I'm going to get the much more mild kind of 50% power. Now, this by itself is not the end of the world. This could very easily just be, a glitch with the firmware or something along those lines that could be fixed with an over-the-air update. It's the second issue, which I encountered on my range test, that is kind of a big deal, and that's the overheating issues. Now, I was actually reading some comments right before I went out for my range test on this scooter, and I saw a comment from someone saying that they were having acceleration issues, laggy acceleration, and that they were also encountering overheating after about 8 miles of riding. Now, it stood out to me because I'd kind of already noticed a similar thing with my acceleration. So I do remember thinking that if this guy has similar acceleration issues to me, then I might end up having the same overheating issues. And I even mention it at the beginning of my range test. Someone else in my comments section on the first impressions video commented that he's been having acceleration lag issues. He also commented that he's been having overheating issues. He said he just held it at the top speed for 8 miles and it overheated, so we'll be able to test that here for sure. If I overheat 8 miles up this road, it's going to be a bit of a problem. I'm gonna have to, luckily we'll be starting going uphill, so getting back won't be the biggest pain, but yeah, I don't really have anyone to bail me out here. I'm gonna have to time this range test to be able to get back down to the car without it dying halfway, and without it hopefully overheating halfway. Now, if you want to watch that range test in its entirety and watch the issues happen as they unfold, that range test is over on my second channel. I'll link it down below in the description. But lo and behold, exactly like the comment described, about 9 miles into my ride of top speed riding, I got the overheat warning. Oh, I got an error code, 13. Is that an overheat error code? Oh yeah, the scooter just shut off while I was searching it. Uh-oh. It's not turning on now. Now, the scooter doesn't initially shut down. It just limits your speed to under 40 or 42-ish miles an hour. I do feel like I've lost top speed here. I've lost about 10 miles an hour of top speed kind of out of nowhere. It almost seems like it's capped itself at 40. But then when I did stop, the scooter ended up shutting off, and it shut off for a couple minutes to the point where I thought that I was stranded. This is exactly what I said. I said, I can't get stranded up here. I am literally 8 miles away from my car. Now, I did have service and I was able to contact Voro Motors directly and ask them about it. And the error that popped up was an error code 13, which is overheating. Now, this is almost definitely controller overheating issues because the motors were not hot at all. Now, I was in the mountains, so it wasn't as hot as it would have been down in the Las Vegas Valley. It was still, I think, low 80s around there. But there was really no good reason for it to overheat. There was plenty of wind. I was riding at 40 miles an hour, so you're getting a ton of wind over the motors. So it almost definitely is overheating with the controllers, though I can't say that is 100% the case. However, it would match up with the other issues I'm having, the acceleration issues, which seem to also be linked to the controller. I also took a look both on the scooter and in the app to see if there was any way to adjust the heat tolerance, to see if maybe InMotion had set it to a really conservative number, and so it was throwing the overheating error code even though it wasn't getting super hot. But as far as I could find, there's no way to adjust that number, only a way to check the temperatures of things. Now, I didn't think to check those temperatures while I was actually out riding to see what part of the scooter was overheating, but if I do take out the scooter again soon, I will be sure to check that if it throws the error sign. Now, if I had just run into this without reading that comment, I would have just assumed that it was, a one-off issue and that I might just need to replace the controllers. I could either send it back to Voro or they'd send me out controllers for me to replace. However, the fact that I read that someone is having almost an identical issue to me, like not something similar, but almost identical to the exact mile that he overheated, means that this might be an issue that is more widespread than just a couple units. Now, I want to be very clear that I'm not making this video to be angry or to call out Voro Motors or to call out InMotion, but as a reviewer, as an influencer, I feel like I should not only inform customers of potential issues that they might run into by purchasing a scooter, especially one that is as expensive as this scooter, but also that hopefully that this will be kind of the catalyst for Voro or InMotion to take action and make sure that this issue isn't a widespread issue on multiple batches of their scooter. So I did want to draw attention to it in a way that would be the most likely to grab their attention and take it seriously. Now, putting these issues aside, I do think that the InMotion RS Jet is a good scooter. I think it's a ton of fun. I think it's packing a lot of performance for the price. I think it's a great looking scooter, and I would love for it to be an option that I could recommend to people. And I do hope that Voro and InMotion take these things seriously, and if they need to replace some controllers or they find an issue with a batch of scooters, that they take action on it and that I can, recommend this scooter in the future, because issues aside, I think it has potential to be one of the best scooters at this price. Now, if you have this scooter and you've been encountering any sort of issues like this, I would love to hear about it down in the comments. If you submitted a ticket, then Voro should have a log of these issues and should know that this is occurring. But sometimes, and I'm not saying that this is the case, but sometimes distributors like to sweep things under the rug a little bit and hope that they go away, because if this issue becomes widespread enough and people are aware of it enough, then obviously, one, scooters aren't going to sell as well, and two, they might have to full-on manufacture a new batch of scooters and go through the process of troubleshooting and figuring out what the issue is. Again, I want to be clear that this could just be a coincidence. It could just be a coincidental thing where me and this commenter have the exact same issues and no other RS Jets are having those issues. But it is something that I felt like was worth making you guys aware of, especially because this is a high-end scooter. This is a scooter that people are going to finance, that people are going to save up to buy. And with such a big decision, it's worth having the most amount of information available. So thanks for watching this video. Let me know what thoughts you have and if you currently own an RS Jet. And if you're having issues, or maybe you're having no issues, I'd love to hear about it either way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.